3,000 years ago, a blind poet sang a song of monsters, angry gods, and a desperate man trying to get home. But what if the man who wrote it never existed at all? This is the true story of Homer's Odyssey. Not the journey of Odysseus across the wine-dark sea, but the miraculous, 3 millennia journey of the story itself. A tale that survived the total collapse of civilizations, the burning of ancient libraries, and the relentless march of time to become the foundation of Western literature. Our story begins in the shadows of the Bronze Age, around 1200 BC. A catastrophic conflict, the real Trojan War, shattered the Mycenaean world. Cities burned, grand palatial societies crumbled, and Greece plunged into a centuries-long dark age. Writing was entirely lost, but the memories of great heroes, soaring walls, and ancient armor survived in the only place they could, the human mind. For over 400 years, the Odyssey existed exclusively in thin air. It was kept alive by a highly trained guild of traveling singers. These bards didn't memorize a static text. Instead, they used an ingenious system of formulas, repeating phrases like swift-footed Achilles or wily Odysseus to improvise and weave the epic together, live on the spot. The poem breathed. It changed with every single performance, adapting to the audience of the night. But by the 8th century BC, a revolutionary technology arrived on the shores of Greece, the alphabet. For the first time, a master bard, a man history would remember simply as Homer, sat down and dictated his masterpiece to a scribe. The oral tradition had been captured. Yet, capturing a story isn't the same as protecting it. Fast forward to the 6th century BC. Athens was ruled by Peisistratus, a cunning populist tyrant who seized power through political theater and mercenary armies. Peisistratus knew that to unify his people, he needed a shared cultural identity. He expanded massive public festivals and decreed that the Homeric epics must be recited publicly during these games, strictly by the book. To enforce this, he commissioned a standardized, official written copy of the Odyssey. The song was finally set in stone, binding the myth of the Bronze Age to the rising glory of Athens. But as centuries passed, the text was copied by hand, over and over. Errors crept in. Fake lines were added by rival cities trying to write themselves into the legend. The story was becoming corrupted. Enter the Library of Alexandria, the intellectual heart of the ancient world. In the 2nd century BC, a brilliant chief librarian named Aristarchus of Samothrace took on a monumental task. He gathered every varied scroll of Homer he could find. Using early scientific methods, Aristarchus meticulously edited the Odyssey, stripping away the fake verses and dividing the massive poem into the 24 books we know today. From Alexandria, the stabilized epic traveled the Roman world on fragile papyrus scrolls. But scrolls decay. They burn. They crumble in the humidity of history. The Odyssey needed a new vessel. By the 3rd century CE, readers began binding sheets of parchment together along one edge, inventing the modern book, the codex. Today, inside the John Rylands Library in England, you can look upon a manuscript known as Greek P53. It is the damaged, beautiful remains of a vellum codex unearthed in Egypt. It is the oldest surviving copy of the Odyssey in book form anywhere in the world. Through the Middle Ages, Byzantine monks in the East painstakingly copied these parchment books, saving Homer from the darkness that swallowed so much of classical antiquity. And then, in 1488, a Greek refugee named Demetrius Chalcondyles stood in a workshop in Florence, Italy. He loaded a newly cast Greek typeface into a printing press, and unleashed the first printed edition of Homer. From that machine, the Odyssey flowed out into the Renaissance, democratizing the ancient world for everyone, forever. The Odyssey is far more than a myth. It is the ultimate survivor. From the ash of Troy, to the breath of illiterate bards, to the printing press, And now to the digital screens of today. The text itself has been on a desperate, sprawling journey to reach us. When you read it today, whose voice are you really hearing?